Welcome back, my fellow viewers. My name is Helena J. I will be your host for today. Now, before I even start our show, I want to introduce you to our guest for the day. I think you've seen her before. Tafadhali introduce her name before tuanze na show.
My name is Fiona Luta. I'm back.
Yes.
And it's good to be back.
Yes, it's good to be back, man. Yeah. Before we even get into anything else, you can get us here on a daily basis, here on Facebook, at Afarmers Media, on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Afarmers Media, and our website is www.afarmerswithaz.com. Now we're going to be getting into a really interesting conversation, something that I think we've all been, watching on the news, talking about it. Now, we've been talking about the whole Shamba system. Now, I want you to interact with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Afarmers Media. I want to know what you think about that conversation. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know just your input on what you think that is and how it will impact us as a country. Now, before we delve into that whole discussion, I think it's best to engage into our traffic for the day. Na kaweda kidogo ndo tujue hali ya anga. And I feel like there's a lot that has been happening on our roads. For instance, we have Paul Mgi. Anasema, please get this. There's a car actually, a fatal accident that is about to happen because there's a car that is on Gitaru Service Road on the southern bypass, and they're very scared about the car that is on that road. What else is on the road? Roiroway Bridge, there's a lot of jam there, so you can look for other alternatives to that road. Another one is Thika Road. Thika Road imeshikana bumper to bumper. Another one is the car. Actually, it is what? It is a KCH 335, and they're saying the guy that is driving this car is very drunk. That is like 33 minutes ago, very early in the morning. Very early in the morning. On a Tuesday. Hey, wanasema, actually wanambia Machio Caleb, yes. From Machio Caleb, he is saying that the guy driving this car is very drunk along Mombasa Road. He actually left the car open without engaging the handbrake and went to pee. And the car started moving back and it almost crashed into my car. You know that saying where the first time I started learning to drive, I'm not the best driver also, let me not lie, but niliambiwa, just know on this road, you're the only sane person. Because someone is drunk at this hour in the morning. He didn't even engage the handbrake. He got out, went to pee, and the car started just moving on its own.
That is risky.
An accident about to happen. Hey, human beings.
In the morning, everyone is going to work. People are
rushing. People are rushing. People, tafadhali. Hey. Okay, there's also somebody, Joshua Karaoke. He's talking about, he's saying, I cannot get over how boda head-on collision with each other on such a wide road. So he's allegedly claiming there is a boda head-on collision. So be careful, bana. Guys, when you're out there, just be very careful. This life is fragile. When you're on the road, just be careful. Also, somebody, GL Tour, he's talking about something that is under construction. City Stadium roundabout is always under construction. The works never stop, but it always looks pathetic. Where does all that money come from to keep on funding a failing project? Hey, Sakaja, your people. Yeah, so that is something that they should look into.
Savages.
Hey, people are savage. Early in the morning. Also, I think still people are talking about Thika Road, watu wa Thika, mostly when you upanda Manchester couches, please. This is not about the roads, but they're talking about your hygiene. They're talking about uoge, hata kama ni thrice a week. People are smelling early in the morning. Ay, pendeni maji, guys. Pendeni maji. Another person, Cardio Walk, he's talking about despite an existing NMT policy by Nairobi County and UNEP, the contractor expanding Ngong Road from Karen roundabout towards Ngong has put pedestrians at a risk of death with no sidewalk. So yes, be careful of that place. There's no sidewalk, so we have to look for alternative routes. And that is also very scary for a normal pedestrian. I'm a pedestrian myself, so that is also a risk. Nairobi's anasema middle class wa Kileleshwa want to own ranches kwa apart. There's a picture of horses. I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's a picture of horses crossing the road. So this person is commenting about it. Unajua tulikuwa tumezoea kuona in Kajiado tumezoea kuona ng'ombe zikipita. So seeing horses is a very rare phenomenon.
There must be a ranch somewhere.
Yeah, there must be a ranch somewhere, or rather there's an activity. But the trade fair is happening. Do they use horses?
Is it agriculture?
Yeah, I'm assuming it is. Yes. So probably. Also, somebody, Greenwald Land, he's talking about borders basically don't follow a single rule on the roads. They have their own special brains that don't come. But we understand because wanapitanga na side mirror mbio sana,
you're supposed to give them way. When they come in, like, they don't care. What
do you think? Because Sakaja flagged the motorists back into Nairobi, and the reason why walikuwa wamefukuzwa was because crime rate was ilikuwa imepanda, mtu anaibua kawig ka earring ka simu, mtu anapita nayo. Do you think that was a good idea though?
I've been a victim before.
Oh,
my phone was stolen on traffic.
I
think it was a boda guy. Because I was busy, I was using Google Maps, so I was busy using getting directions.
To the Makidogo.
Okay. I was busy getting directions, and before I knew it, my phone is gone. And the window was not, I was on the driver's seat, the window was not too low. I was just getting some air. So before I knew it, the hand was inside my phone gone. And I was just like, what happened? Wait a minute, what happened?
So mtu ako kwa boda ali.
I think it was a boda guy who carried someone.
Oh, the guy behind.
Yes. So it's a collaboration. They were working together.
Yeah.
So I think it was around 7ish to 8ish at night. So I think they saw the reflection of my phone. So they just came on the side. I did not notice because I was like, I don't want to get lost. I'm focusing on the directions. Boom. My phone was gone, just like that.
I would want to hear your point of view about this. What is your thought about the whole motorists getting back to Nairobi? Because it's we're creating job employments for them, but also at what cost? People are really suffering out here. Yeah, man, you're stealing people's handbags, as much as we want to champion it, we have to weigh the advantages from,
There should be some organization.
But I think there is, because, what is it? There's, is it not a card, but, what is it? I'm looking for the best word for this, but they would permit, yes. You have to have a Nairobi, like to use Nairobi.
The roads.
A permit for it. So I think that actually works for them. But then, how do you know who has a permit? Amakanjo have to be all over on a constant.
Like the stealing happens so fast. The stealing, it happens within seconds, and you're just like, what happened?
Yeah, I think that's something that Sakaja should really think about, like how to go about it, the procedures. Yeah, because but pia walikuwa nashika bikes za watu wengi, because I remember I used to talk to a lot of motorbike guys, and they used to tell me how it was hard. Bike yako kishikwa, it's 20,000 getting it out,
And that's why when they commit a crime on the road, they leave the bike, they disappear.
Wanaenda, but then see license details zako, like
majority of them are employees. Probably the bikes belong to someone else, so they're just working for them. So they have nothing to lose. At that moment, the fear of just getting charged. So you'd rather run away.
Yeah.
Leave the bike there. The owner will come to claim it.
Wow, okay. I like that. But hey, bodabodas, okay, we love you guys, but some of you tunaogopa sana. Our last one is by Joe one with a H. Thika Road parking lot, both service and highway. But the highway, it's moving. Service park. I didn't get this. Thika Road. Okay, I did not quite get that. Yeah, and also the southern bypass stretch from Langata Road to Mombasa Road is very clean. Whoever is in charge, a team on the ground has done an excellent job. Culverts are clean, no plastic bottles and papers, grass has been trimmed and trash removed. Thank you. Yes, that is something we like to hear. Nice. At least the roads on Nairobi are not looking, as bad, but I wouldn't mind us being as clean as Kisumu. Kisumu is the cleanest county.
I've never been to Kisumu.
Kisumu is very clean. It's yes. Actually, it was rated the cleanest in Kenya. So yeah, hakuna vumbi, hakuna trash, takataka. You should visit.
Watu wa Kisumu, invite me please. I will come. Wakulima, I'll come. Tukunywe kachai. Wakulima.
Tupatane. Now, I want to get back to our conversation for the day. It is about the whole Shamba system. Now, a cross-section of leaders in government are opposing the reintroduction of the Shamba system, which was announced over the weekend by the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. I'm telling you, nilikuwa githeri asubuhi. So, the Shamba system was practiced during retired President Daniel Arap Moi's era, where Kenyans were allowed to farm reserve forest land while tendering trees at the same time. Okay? In a tweet on a Sunday, September, Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale said that it would be difficult to differ with Peace Laureate Professor Wangari Maathai, who fought for Shamba system during the Moi era. Now, according to the UNEP, United Nations Environmental Program, Shamba system is a way to a forest land where exotic trees have been cut for timber. Okay, the Shamba system is a way to a forest land where exotic trees have been, cut for timber, like I said, and the community benefits from being able to plant crops in exchange for planting trees or tree seedling and taking care of the growing trees for 3 years. For 3 years. Okay, I'll get into it. I have something about that. So on Saturday, the Deputy President said that the system order would be implemented as soon as a new environmental CS is appointed. Now, Gachagua said that a return of the system will boost food production in the country. Before even we go further, what is a Shamba system?
A Shamba system is where farmers are allowed to grow crops in forests.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a simple layman's language, is where farmers are allowed to go into forests and grow crops.
Okay. So do you think, from your perspective, that is a good thing?
I strongly oppose it.
Oh, you do? You oppose it?
I strongly oppose it.
Why do you say so? I'm curious.
Because first things first, I would honor the environmentalist, the political activist Wangari Maathai, and the first African woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize. So I would really honor her. She stood firmly in planting trees so that we can reduce desertification. And she also empowered village women in planting trees so that it can improve their livelihood. So I don't see why now someone should go, because I'm imagining if we are to farm in forests, we are going to cut a few trees down.
Yes.
So that we can even get the space. Because if I want to farm in an acre piece and trees are planted all over, I'll have to cut down some trees so that I can plant. That is really going to affect us. We are at a place now where we are really fighting climate change. Is it the time to start encouraging people to go into forests and do crop cultivation? Is it the time?
I want to understand. You've said we're at a time where climate change is happening. Now, from that perspective, you also quoted Professor Wangari Maathai about planting trees. I want to understand, what is the benefit of planting trees then?
In Kajiado, for those who live in Kajiado, this place is hot.
Yes.
I've ever just walked for even a kilometer. The sun that will hit you,
you're sweating.
It's sweating, it's hot. But can you imagine walking somewhere where trees are planted? The fresh air. You're breathing fresh air. There's shade. I mean, you can even walk for 3 kilometers because you're not feeling the heat. Now, the importance of planting trees for fresh air, for shade. Trees filter the water we drink. And then trees also are important before they help us control climate change. Because where there are a number of trees, there will be plenty of rain. So it will even be an added advantage to farmers. They will be able to grow crops comfortably, knowing that when the time comes to expect rain, the rains will come. But if we cut down trees, what happens?
Land degradation. There's so many aspects to it. Now, with that in mind, what would you suggest then? Since he said, the deputy president rather has brought it back, okay? And from my understanding, it was banned a couple of times from the Moi era and also, the Moi Kibaki era. And also you've mentioned that Wangari Maathai was, against it. Then what else can we bring it up? Because I think that was something he brought up because of the whole famine and drought aspect that is happening around Kenya. So what else can we do then if the Shamba system, from your point, isn't?
If we strongly oppose Shamba system, then we don't even need to. We have to come up with solutions because the DP said it will be a way of increasing food production.
Okay, yes.
Now, we have semi-arid and arid areas. Why can't we invest in irrigation systems in those areas? If we claim the areas are too dry to even practice farming, why can't we invest, instead of encouraging people to venture into forests, let us invest in those areas. Let us invest in irrigation methods that will work well for those areas. When we do that, people will start farming in those areas. We will not have cases of drought. We will not have cases of hunger. We will not have cases where people are hungry to the point where they eat a camel or, So at least, my opinion, we need to invest in irrigation methods that will work well in those arid and semi-arid areas.
Okay, that is interesting. So from what I'm getting from you is that rather than us planting crops where trees are, we should plant trees where crops are.
Because from the look of things, and from those who are supporting this Shamba system, from what they have said is it's not about getting into forest and disrupting the whole thing, cutting down trees. It's just we are encouraging people as they're planting, as they're cultivating, they also plant trees. And as the trees, within a duration of time, that is like 3-5 years, they move, they let the trees grow. But how long does a tree take to grow?
You tell me, you're the expert now.
A tree takes like 20 to even 30 years to mature, so that we can have these big trees. If I plant a tree today, I'm not expecting it to mature 3-5 years from now. It will take time.
It will take time. So 20 to 30 years for it to fully mature. So I don't just get it. I don't just get it when you say people will cultivate on this land for a duration of time and then move and go to another place. It doesn't make sense to me. No. From that, I'm getting, okay, if you are the farmer now, Mwambua 3 to 4 years, you're going to cultivate, will you move from that land?
I will not. Like, I will keep utilizing the land for as long as I can. Because, I mean, I don't know the policies or how they're going to go about this. I don't know the lands are going to be beneficial to people living close to the forest. I don't know. But I'm sure they need to have a good organizational structure to go about it.
Yes.
Because, I mean, if once I hear of that and I'm living next to a forest, I'm already najipanga. I'm thinking, how am I going to get into that forest?
And
get a piece of land and start doing my farming.
Don't you think it's also, because I feel like, okay, that's my perspective, but people are, don't you think it will open up doors for corruption? Don't you think it, like, people grabbing land, corruption to take place? So from your perspective, you've said we need to come up with policies. How does that even work? Are they assigning just anybody else? Because I've also seen sawmillers are actually championing this, so that's an avenue for them to make more timber, So how do they go about it? How do they choose who takes this and who doesn't? Do they give it to each other? Yeah.
I mean, there are people who forests are not in urban areas.
Yes.
Most of the forests are in rural areas, a bit far away from civilization.
Yeah.
So there's no way someone will come to you and say, Helen, leave your residence in Nairobi, go to somewhere in Bomet, there's a forest nearby, go start farming. My opinion, this will be beneficial to people who are living close to these forests.
Okay.
So it will not be, my understanding, it will not be for everyone. This will only benefit those people who are living close to these forests. So how they will go about it, I don't even know. Because it need to be a very organized exercise. Because as you've said, people will take advantage of it. There will be land grabbing. There will be commercial timber companies coming in and taking advantage of that. Oh, meat is nakatwa hapa. We are coming in.
Yeah.
So I just don't know how they will go about it.
But isn't that beneficial to the person ulanalima, the farmer? Because, for instance, okay, you said you would rather the people who live there, the communities rather that live near the forest, are the ones who are going to benefit mostly from that. Because if a company comes, sini farmer ndo anapewa pesa ya kukata miti ama?
The person close. But for the people cutting down the trees, if you really need something, you will leave Nairobi with your materials, with everything that you need. You will go somewhere anywhere where there's a forest, and you will cut down the trees that you need, and you will leave. And you will tell them, kulima mwenye ako karibu, unaona hata nimekurahisishia kazi. I've cut down the trees where, get in, start farming. So it will not be the person living close by taking the opportunity to cut down the trees.
Yeah.
Timber nini companies will come from wherever to just get the trees. And that's why majority of them are pushing for this.
Oh, they're really championing it. They're very excited about it, I can imagine. Before we continue with this, I feel like we should take just a small break. But when we come back, we're going to delve back into this, the whole Shamba system. What do you think it's going to do for our country? What do you think it's going to do for our forest? Interact with us on our Facebook. We are live on Facebook. Interact with us on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube at Afarmers Media. Do not leave.
Mahindi yamekuwa chakula kikuu katika sehemu nyingi za ulimwengu na jumla ya uzalishaji wa mahindi kuliko ile ya ngano au mchele. Mbali na kuwa mahindi ni chakula, pia hutumiwa kutengeneza ethanoli, chakula cha wanyama na bidhaa zingine. Kunayo mahindi ya gume, mahindi ya ganda yaani popcorn, mahindi ya unga na mahindi matamu. Mahindi yanalimwa sana kote ulimwenguni na kiwango kikubwa cha mahindi hutolewa kila mwaka kuliko nafaka nyingine yoyote. Shamba la mahindi linaweza kutayarishwa kwa kutumia njia za kawaida au za kilimo cha uhifadhi. Kilimo cha kuhifadhi ni pamoja na kunyunyizia dawa za kuulia wadudu zilizopendekezwa na wataalamu wa kilimo. Unaweza kutumia trekta au njia ya mikono kufanya kilimo cha mahindi. Ni muhimu kuandaa ardhi mapema ya kutosha kuruhusu magugu kukauka na kuoza kabla ya kupanda.
Melon is a trailing vine in the gourd family. The word melon can refer to either the plant or specifically to the fruit. Watermelon is a type of melon that is sweet and refreshing fruit. Watermelons can either be grown on home gardens for small-scale farmers or large-scale depending on the market demand. You can either transplant or plant watermelon seeds directly. For best performance, plant watermelons in hot, sunny locations with loose, fertile, well-drained soil that is rich in organic matter. It is best to plant watermelons on raised rows and ensure that the soil pH is between 6.0 to 6.8. On average, it takes around 3 months for a watermelon to grow from seed to mature fruit, with smaller varieties having shorter growing times than larger varieties of watermelon. Watermelon growing, if done rationally and on a scalable basis, can be a good source of income.
A nursery bed is a small area of a yard or garden that's used for growing certain selected plants. The goal of a nursery bed is to grow young plants to a certain size at which they can be easily transplanted. A nursery bed can also be used to evaluate plants to see if they are worthy of planting in the larger garden, to observe their growth, habit, and color, or watch them for pests and diseases. A nursery bed is especially helpful for vegetable gardeners practicing succession in planting, in which a steady supply of fresh produce is maintained.
Welcome back, my fellow viewers, to Afarmers Media, where we learn and grow. I am your host, Helena J, and I'm with the guest. Nataka rudie jina yake for the people who've just tuned in right now. Tafadhali wakumbushe jina.
My name is Fiona Luta.
Yes, she's our guest for the day. I'm always excited when you come to the show because we learn a lot here.
Thank you.
Yes. So our topic for today was Shamba system. Now, if you have any ideas, if you feel like there's something that you want to put out there, we encourage it. Please interact with us on our social media handles. You can find us here on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter, on Instagram, even on TikTok. Usiogope tuko TikTok. Hata sisi we are TikTok cooking. YouTube, Afarmers Media, and our website is www.afarmerswithaz.com. Okay, now I want to go to what we were talking. You know, the deputy president, for those, I want to reiterate again, for the people who just came back, the deputy president over the weekend, he said, or rather, he is reintroducing the Shamba system. Now, the Shamba system is where communities that live within the forest actually, cut a couple of trees and then plant, or rather, they introduce crop, or rather farming into the forest. Now, I want to understand from your, perspective, do you think this is something that will happen? Because it has been banned a couple of times. From Moisera, it has been banned. From Kibaki, it has been introduced and then being banned, reintroduced, being banned. Do you think this time it will hold?
Personally, I would really like to understand those reintroducing it. What is the intention? Because this Shamba system has got more disadvantages than advantages. So probably the person reintroducing it has got an agenda. We've just talked about how people will take advantage to the point of land grabbing.
Yes.
Where timber companies will step in.
Yes.
Isn't that taking advantage?
That is, yes.
That is taking advantage.
Yeah.
Because a couple of people are going to benefit from this.
Yeah.
Economically, they're going to benefit.
So you think it will not benefit, it will not work, or rather it won't move further?
If we are trying to educate people about climate change, if we are trying to fight climate change, then this shouldn't be the time to bring in aspects that will just affect our climate. If we are talking about planting crops in forests, that will also mean we cut a few trees. And what will that mean? We will be slowly going towards desertification.
Yes.
We will be slowly being affected by extreme weather conditions, drought. So what will that mean to the farmer? It will really affect the farmer.
It will.
Because the farmer will be in a position where they can't even plant anything because of extreme weather conditions. So I feel we should just preserve our forests, even for the future generation.
Okay.
And we shouldn't take advantage of the fact that these are forests, nothing is happening. A forest is a habitat to so many things.
So many plants, yes.
So many plants,
yeah.
so many medicinal plants, even animals.
Now, you've said the forest is home to so many medicinal plants. Now, I want to quote the deputy president. He said, kuna siku watu walikuwa nakatazwa hata kuchukua a leaf. Unakatazwa. Vitu zinaharibika huko kwa shamba. Things plants are getting spoiled in the shamba that are actually, or forest rather, that are actually beneficial. So do you think there should be a system, or rather, should people have a say when it comes to picking those medicinal plants, or?
We are at a place where majority of us believe when I get sick, I simply go to the hospital, get diagnosed, get medication.
Yeah.
But there's also a percentage of people who believe in herbal medicine. So for me, I would say there need to be someone who governs the same. The only people who are allowed to go to this forest and access these herbal plants, they should also know the know-how on how they're going to use them. I cannot just go to the forest and say, you know what, I'm looking for herbal plants. Yet, even if I'm given a leaf today, I wouldn't
You can't even
know.
name it.
I can't even name it. So, and there are people who are specialized in that. So I think those ones should be allowed to go in and,
So, okay. So the specific people who should be able to go into that.
Who should be able to access the forest, who should be able to even, because I don't know how it works, if they are medicinal plants in the forest. Is there a season where they are harvested and drugs are made? I don't know. I don't know how it works. I can't say I know.
I think our next topic we're going to be talking about that, like how the crops actually, bring out the medicines. Indio, you've said about the whole, not being able to like pick plants in the forest. What about planting? Do the communities rather who are there, because I've read actually on the news, I've been seeing apparently that those who are already in the farms, like in the forest,
really eager to go.
They're already there even before our deputy actually talked about it. They were already there. They're like, we're waiting for the go ahead, but we're already set. What should there be policies, or what should happen? Should they be fined? What should happen to
First things first, it shouldn't even happen. But if it were to happen, I think there need to be policies that they need to be rules and regulations that people can follow before you even access this forest, before you even start farming.
Yeah.
Because one thing we should really fight against is cutting down trees.
Yes.
If there's land somewhere, people should go, as someone claimed, it's not about cutting down trees, or rather it's about planting crops and planting trees at the same time. So when trees are grown, you move, you go to another area so that you can give the trees ample time to grow. But one thing that people don't know is once a tree starts growing, the roots spread.
Yes.
So trees really need space.
Yes.
You cannot plant them together with. You cannot. It's not. It's not about planting one tree here, the next. There need to be some sort of space. They need to be some sort of inches apart. So what happens when here I am? I have a maize plantation next to a tree. I don't know how that works. I don't know if it will work out.
Okay. So on still on the topic about tree planting, I have seen that there's this term that is the offsetting situation, where companies which have been emitting carbon emissions use it to balance whatever they're doing. Rather, they plant trees, so many trees, so that they can balance it out from their carbon emissions. What do you think about that?
I think it's PR, because if these industrialized companies are emitting poison, you cannot use trees as an excuse. Let us organize a fun day so that people can come in and plant trees. Trees take time to grow.
Yes.
And by the time they mature enough so that they can be able to give out oxygen as carbon is being emitted, it takes time.
Yes.
It takes time. So I believe that is just PR. They're just using it as an excuse, to cover up.
So they're not helping in any way whatsoever.
They're not my opinion, they're not helping in any way.
Yeah.
Because that is one thing that causes global warming.
Yes.
And if I'm emitting if I'm emitting poisonous gases today, how long will I take? And in my backyard, I've planted a couple of trees. How long will it take for them to grow?
20 to 30 years, like you said, 20 to 30 years.
It takes a long time
for it to be able to emit carbon,
to be able to mature,
filter rather,
filter carbon, and produce oxygen. It takes time.
So that means we need a really large forest cover for it to balance that out.
And that's why we need to keep on planting trees.
But is there really land for that, for us to plant trees?
We have land.
Yes.
While people are dying in Marsabit, in Turkana, people are dying of hunger. Why can't we go in some of those places, create an irrigation method, plant a couple of trees? I'm 100% sure there are types of trees that can grow well in dry areas. like everywhere you go in Kenya, you will not miss a tree. Even if it's a dying tree.
Cactus.
You will always, and it's helpful. You will always find a tree. It might not be big enough, it might not be providing shade enough, but you will always encounter a tree everywhere you go in Kenya. So it means trees can grow.
Okay, so that, from my understanding, you mean we need to introduce tree planting, not just as just a form of, curbing the whole calamity. It needs to be something that we do from the roots.
As we are busy pushing the Shamba system, we should also be busy pushing planting of trees. We are getting to a place where drought will be extreme in the country. I don't know if you've seen so many different articles warning people and telling people, jipange na food. So that means we are getting to a place where drought will be extreme in the country. And what will that do to farmers? Farmers will not be able to farm.
Yes.
Sources of water will dry up. So if we are getting there, why are we still encouraging people to go forth and cut down a few trees so that we can start farming in forests? We should be encouraging generations to come plant trees so that you can curb climate change. Our kids, our generation to come, they need to be educated more on how trees can curb climate change. Because the drought we are facing now, we don't need our generation to face the same. Yes,
true. On that, I saw Meru County actually is at a risk of, drought. A county that was really rich with miraa is now a desert.
I'm even shocked.
I'm also very shocked. Meru, it was a hub of so many, agricultural, growth there. So right now we are a drought crisis. Embu also saw Nyeri. What is your aspect on that? Because that is so scary. Even from nimesomea Embu, so I'm like, that place used to rain on a constant. Now it's a desert. What are you talking about?
I'm as shocked as you are. Because these are some of the places that are always, it usually rains in plenty. Like a lot of food comes from such places. A lot of farmers, like if you travel to Nyeri, you will meet on your way, there's so many large-scale farmers, So I'm thinking if they're facing drought as we speak, what happens next? And this other county is supposed to be scared. Because, a county that rains frequently is now at the verge of drought. What are these counties supposed to do? These other counties, Kajiado County, what are they supposed to do? See, Wanyama animals will just start falling on the ground dying because there's no food, there's no water, So it's really a scary thing.
Yes.
And drought is really, apart from, like back in the day we used to think drought only affect areas like Turkana, Marsabit. But right now it's in Meru.
Yes.
What happens to the Mira?
It dries out because they haven't had rain for the last 3 seasons. 3 seasons.
That's extreme.
Yes.
That's extreme.
Yeah. And they have to trek longer distances to get water. So it's a big deal. Now, on that topic of drought, because I think this was the deputy's idea of actually boosting the food production in Kenya. What would be your take on that? If this is how he's going about it, forget the whole political aspect of it. He's going about it in terms of cutting trees so that you can, to be able to boost food production.
If that is his route of taking things, if we are planning on boosting food production, will it be beneficial to the people farming, or will it also be beneficial to the areas where people are facing drought? Because if we produce food in plenty, are we going to carry the food to these relief areas where we can give them, or can we teach them long-term solutions? Like I just said, if I feed you today, you come back to me tomorrow and say, I still want some food. Before you know it, I'll be tired.
Yeah.
But if I teach you how to find that food,
oh yes,
you will figure out ways of finding that food.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel, okay, fine, we need a quick solution is taking some food to Marsabit, because people are dying of hunger.
Yeah.
But if I'm telling someone who is hungry, you're hungry today, and you come to me and I tell you, you know what, go to the forest and start farming. How long, if I farm spinach today, because spinach grows really fast, will I wait for 3 months? And I'm hungry. Mind you, I'm so hungry. Will I wait for 3 months? You're talking about the Shamba system to someone who is hungry.
Yeah.
How are you helping them?
Okay.
How are you helping this person? People are dying of hunger.
Yes.
Here you are thinking and imagining that if we come up with the Shamba system, it will be a way of producing food in plenty. For how long? I'm hungry now. I need food now. So, you know, you cannot talk to I cannot even tell a hungry person, you know what, let me teach you how to even make food. They will tell me, feed me now, so that I can even listen to you.
But I think that is a bit better. If you're feeding them and teaching them at the same time, they will know, oh, so this food that he's given me is actually from his Shamba. So that makes sense to me.
That's why I'm saying, you cannot come up with a solution of Shamba systems. This is a solution that will take time. If whatever farmers are going to plant in those forests, they will not grow within a day. It will take time.
It will take time.
Here we are, people are dying of hunger. Come up with a quick solution for now. Feed them for now. And then with time, try and introduce irrigation systems that work in those dry areas, so that people can start farming their own food. They can start growing something that can sustain them. Introduce drought-resistant crops to those areas. Because there's so many crops that do well in dry areas.
Such as?
Groundnuts.
Okay.
Cowpeas.
Okay.
So the list is even mangoes.
Oh, nice.
Like, you know. Kitui. And those places are dry.
Yes.
If you've been there, you know those places are dry.
Hot.
It's hot.
Very hot.
But they still do so well in agriculture.
Yeah.
They plant mangoes to the point where they're exported.
So, okay, now I want to understand, because I saw that the president actually flagged off lorries that are rather delivering around 20,000 bags of rice, 20,000 bags of beans, and assortment of other goods to drought-stricken areas like northern Kenya. Do you think that's a good move? Because, you know, you've said you need to teach them to make food for themselves, but if there's drought, how does that work? Do you think that is also first a good move?
It is a good move.
Yeah.
Like I've just told you, when I'm hungry in this instant, the thing that I need is not education, is not being taught how to plant, how to do ABCD. The thing I need at the moment is food. So relief food is good at the moment. Okay. But then we need long-term solutions. Okay. So that in the next seasons to come, we are not experiencing drought in the country. We are not, because when drought is happening in Turkana, it just puts you in a place where you become worried. Yes. Because you don't know what happens. If drought is if Embu, Meru, Nyeri, they're experiencing seasons of no rain. That puts you in a place of worry, because you ask yourself, what about these other counties? Yeah. What happens next?
No, I don't even know what to say, because that is a scary thought process, just thinking about, you know, it's the whole drought thing just spreading throughout the country, or rather, you know, rain not happening. But the rains haven't been happening because of climate change. I want us to get into that kidogo tu sideline kidogo. I want to also go back to what the president said in the UN. He said that he was rather just asking the countries to actually think about the climate change and to create funding for it. What is your take on that?
It's a good move. It's a good move. This is a person of influence. For a person of influence to talk about the issues affecting us on a daily basis, It's a good move. This is a person who will be heard by so many people.
Okay.
So for him to even tackle climate change, it just shows that now so many people will pay attention. Because in most cases ni ule mkulima mwenye hana hata platform.
Yeah.
He's trying to speak about how climate change is affecting him, and someone just looks at him and be like, what are you talking about? You know.
Yeah.
So for someone of such influence to talk about climate change, it's a good move.
It's a good move. Okay. Because what is it? I've been seeing that there are so many countries actually around the world that have been facing a lot of climate change and mara flooding, earthquake, mara, the things that you hear and you're like, good Lord, we're living in the same country. That even happened in July. Us were experiencing cold weather, but in the US, in European countries, there was heat wave, happening. So I want to get us back to our topic, Bado. Do you think that tree planting will eventually be a solution to that, or we have to look for other modes of solutions when it comes to climate change? Because I think the main thing they're saying about, boosting food production in those areas is, I'm assuming the climate there is a bit better to be able to facilitate, growth of crops. Now, in a bigger perspective, climate change affects all of us.
It does?
Yes.
It does.
So do you think it will eventually help us, or it will be a long road before we actually really consider that as a threat to us?
For me, planting of trees is just a plus. If we start by, and even if we talk about aesthetic value, there are some countries that trees are even planted on the streets. As you walk, even in their parks in towns, like in Nairobi town, apart from Uhuru Park, and then we have this beautiful park with trees, just for aesthetic value.
Okay.
So for me, I would say planting of trees is a plus in curbing climate change, but there are so many other factors that need to be considered, because trees take time, but the earlier we start planting trees, it will be a relief.
In the long run.
It will be a relief in the long run. We also educate people about climate change, some of the things they can avoid. We also work on poisonous stuff that are emitted in the air, So it's there are so many factors to consider. But for starters, for someone who is naive to this, just start by planting a tree.
Plant a tree.
In the long run, it will help. Just plant a
tree.
Just plant a tree. You never know. It will help generations.
It is very beneficial.
Our kids, the kids to our kids, they will benefit from the trees we are planting now. So go forth and plant a tree.
Okay. My mind has gone a bit far. I'm still thinking about the whole climate aspect. We haven't even explained to our viewers what is climate change from your perspective.
I believe climate change are extreme weather conditions. I will try to put it in a layman's language as much as I can. So these are just extreme weather conditions like drought, flooding, and they affect us in so many ways. So that's what we mean by climate change.
Okay. So how, or rather, what causes it?
Like we've said, minor factors like deforestation. That is one thing that causes climate change, because if we don't have enough trees, we will experience things like desertification, and that will affect our livelihood. When it's dry, we will not be able to farm. When it's flooding, how will we be able to move in our daily lives? We will not. So those are just a few things that contribute to climate change.
Okay. Now, from that aspect, do you think that these are topics that, from my understanding, I feel like or rather, I want to understand from your aspect, do you think this is a conversation that we should, or rather, are they adding it into the curriculum? Is it something that they should add, or is it happening in the curriculum currently?
I don't think it's happening. I remember last time we asked anyone with a kid in the CBC program, kindly tell us. We are not too sure. So I don't know if it's in our curriculum. I don't know if they're teaching our kids about climate change, but it's upon you as a person. Educate someone who is not aware of it. When you meet someone out there, just mention it and get their perspective on the same. It's a learning process, So for me, climate change, I believe everyone should be aware of it.
Yes.
Because this is something that affects everyone.
Yes.
From a farmer to even you, the consumer. You're affected by it. So we should teach and put awareness out there as much as we can. Even in schools, it should be in our curriculum. Kids should be taught, what is this climate change? What are the effects? What are the long-term effects of the same, Yeah, kids should be aware of that. So as they grow, they know the measures to take.
Okay.
They know, I need to plant a tree so that I can have the shade, so that I can have fresh air, so that it can filter the water that I drink, Once a kid is aware of that, they will be more prone to planting trees. Yeah.
Or once they have the information at hand,
it
will be a bit more easier to convince them to get into that.
And like you're telling, that this time someone mentioned something to you and you're just like, are you speaking French? Like, I'm not getting what you're saying. But when you have an idea of what the person is speaking about, it's easier to relate.
It is. Okay. I'm really enjoying this conversation. Like I said before, if you have any topic to add, or rather something to add, or just to enlighten us, we're open to learning. Like we said, this is where we learn and grow. So if you want to interact with us here, right here on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube at Afarmers Media. We are talking about the Shamba system. What do you think about it? Is it beneficial to us? Will it help the country at large? Will it affect the trees that we have around? What will it do to our forest cover? Will it even impact the whole what we were talking about, the carbon emissions? Will it really help us with the whole climate change? Rather, that's the word I was looking for. Kizungu. I'm telling you, look at that meli. Oh, you know what you're about to say, but gone.
Disappears in the moment.
Now, it's very interesting because it's something that was actually brought about by our deputy president. We've seen in a couple of, over the years, it has been reintroduced, banned, and also the Nobel laureate Wangari Maathar, campaigned against it. Wait, I'm telling you, Kizungu guys, kind of joke, but they championed against it. Now, I would love, like I said, interact with us on our social media handles. Tell us what you think about our discussion for today. Would like to really hear from you, and this is the place where we'll learn and grow. And if you think there's a topic that you'd want us to dive into, do not be afraid. Interact with us. Let us know your opinions, your thoughts, even links that you have concerning this topic. Like I said, we love to learn, and we love to also teach you also. So whatever you have, we are open to learning also. Sindio. Now, before we also go for another mini break, I want to know, do you remember what 4K Club meant? Do you know what 4K Club meant before we go on a break?
Let's go on a break.
So we're going to go for a small break. We're going to be right back, so stick around.
Beetroot
Beetroot is a highly nutritious root vegetable. The beetroot is the taproot portion of a beet plant. It is one of the many varieties of the genus Beta vulgaris, all of which are mostly grown for their edible taproots and leaves. Beetroot is a root crop that takes approximately 3 to 4 months to mature. Beetroot is a fairly easy crop to grow as long as the soil is well cultivated prior to planting. Beetroots do not enjoy wet, boggy or shady soils. Beetroot can be sown in trays and transplanted when the seedlings have 2 true leaves. Plant in full sun, space seedlings 10 to 15 centimeters apart, and rows 20 centimeters to 30 centimeters apart so they have room to grow. Beetroots are also ideal for containers or raised beds. Beetroots will happily thrive in small areas as long as there is at least 20 centimeters depth of soil. Beetroot has been used not only for food but also for treatment for numerous conditions.
Mahindi yamekuwa chakula kikuu katika sehemu nyingi za ulimwengu na jumla ya uzalishaji wa mahindi kuliko ile ya ngano au mchele. Mbali na kuwa mahindi ni chakula, pia hutumiwa kutengeneza ethanoli, chakula cha wanyama na bidhaa zingine. Kunayo mahindi ya gume, mahindi ya ganda, yaani popcorn, mahindi ya unga na mahindi matamu. Mahindi yanalimwa sana kote ulimwenguni na kiwango kikubwa cha mahindi hutolewa kila mwaka kuliko nafaka nyingine yoyote. Shamba la mahindi linaweza kutayarishwa kwa kutumia njia za kawaida au za kilimo cha uhifadhi. Kilimo cha kuhifadhi ni pamoja na kunyunyizia dawa za kuulia wadudu zilizopendekezwa na wataalamu wa kilimo. Unaweza kutumia trekta au njia ya mikono kufanya kilimo cha mahindi. Ni muhimu kuandaa ardhi mapema ya kutosha kuruhusu magugu kukauka na kuoza kabla ya kupanda.
Melon is a trailing vine in the gourd family. The word melon can refer to either the plant or specifically to the fruit. Watermelon is a type of melon that is sweet and refreshing fruit. Watermelons can either be grown on home gardens for small-scale farmers or large-scale depending on the market demand. You can either transplant or plant watermelon seeds directly. For best performance, plant watermelons in hot, sunny locations with loose, fertile, well-drained soil that is rich in organic matter. It is best to plant watermelons on raised rows and ensure that the soil pH is between 6.0 to 6.8. On average, it takes around 3 months for a watermelon to grow from seed to mature fruit, with smaller varieties having shorter growing times than larger varieties of watermelon. Watermelon growing, if done rationally and on a scalable basis, can be a good source of income.
Welcome back to our show for the day. Welcome back to Afarmers Media. My name is Helena J. My guest for today, anaitwa Fiona
Luta.
Yes. And we have been delving into the topic that has been stirring our news headlines over the weekend by the Deputy President. He said he's reintroducing the Shamba system back into Kenya. Now, like I said before, for those who are getting back, or rather getting to the show right now, that's the topic of the day. And from my understanding, it has been banned a couple of times. I am still a bit wary about it. I really don't know if it's really helping us. I'm curious. Who's benefiting rather? Yeah, like, does it help anyone, or rather, who is benefiting from it?
I think the communities that are close to these forests, because to be honest, not a very large population of people live close to the forest.
Yeah.
It's a very small percentage of people. So I believe they're the ones benefiting from the same.
Okay.
Because they're the ones who will acquire land, they will farm, and in exchange they will be given a few seedlings to plant trees. And trees take some time to grow. So I believe they will continue farming. Okay. And I just hope it will increase food production.
Or
if
like
we
they
give them
say,
a benefit of doubt, I just hope it will increase food production.
Don't you think we've talked about it in lengthwise, because you've mentioned corruption, and land grabbing, are you sure there will be a boost in crop production if those aspects are kind of looming around?
This is me assuming that something good will come out of it. Okay. Just as an assumption.
Assumptions.
So I hope, just maybe, if it is done well,
okay,
maybe it will increase food production. Just maybe. We are not sure.
So policies...
But it will do a lot of harm to the environment. So fingers crossed.
Okay. Now, like I said before, if you have queries, if you have anything to add, if you just want to tell us something more, just do not forget to interact with us on our social media handles, Afarmers Media right here on Facebook, Afarmers Media on YouTube, Afarmers Media on Instagram, and Twitter. As we wind up on our topic for the day, because I think we've really talked lengthwise about it, in the long run, or rather in the future, do you think it's something that rather should continue to exist, or rather should just be periodical?
I think it should be, it should not be put. It should not happen. Because if the Shamba system is put into place and it starts happening, we will just increase deforestation. And with no time, climate change will catch up with us. And now this is the time we will have long periods of drought. What will that do to farmers?
Yeah.
What will that do to Kenyans who are consuming food?
Yeah.
People will start dying of hunger. Our animals will drop dead. So I think it should just be periodical. Or it should just be tested.
See if it can work. Yeah. Now, on that aspect of climate change, you've talked about, farmers. What would you tell a farmer right now who's struggling with, climate change? Like we've said, Meru is at a risk of, drought. A place where I was rich with Mira. Right now, the places in it that are very dry because of drought. What advice would you give to a farmer who's going through that?
This is what I'll tell a farmer. Drought is here, and it will be here for some time. And that's why Kenyans are being prepared to jipange. So even as a farmer, wewe jipange. Try and get information about drought-resistant crops, so that as it doesn't matter how long drought will last, have a solution. Plant something that will sustain you during this period. Also keep up with the weather updates, keep up with climate change news, so that you can just know where we are headed as a country. Are these weather conditions getting extreme, or we'll get to a place where we'll have normal weather conditions? So just keep up with the news also. And also plant a tree, like she said before. Plant a tree for future generations. For future generations. Yes. Okay, thank you so much for that. I have learnt a lot. I think we've delved into so many things right there. If you missed out, there is a recording on YouTube. We're live, don't forget that. But you can still watch us on our YouTube page at Afarmers Media. I will not over-reiterate this. Afarmers Media. We will learn and grow. Hapa ni kusaidiana. Tuna learn something, tunasaidiana ndo to grow si wote, si ndio? I think we should delve into our news, si ndio? Tuingie kwa news kidogo, and I'm saying that I think it's just basically what we were talking about. Our Deputy Gachagua to lead high levels of farmer in talks. That was actually yesterday, right? Yes. Yeah, that's what Ruto said. And from that, I think that's where the whole Shamba system kind of came up. Yes. How else do you think we should, ways to mitigate the whole, farming situation? Like I've just said, we should introduce drought-resistant crops. Okay. And we should educate farmers about the same. Yes. And we should also find irrigation methods that can work well in these arid and semi-arid areas. That will be a plus for anyone who wants to farm in those areas. So those are just a few ways that can mitigate the situation.
Okay. Mnasikia watu wangu? Yes.
Some of the drought-resistant crops we will repeat.
Yes.
For someone who did not hear or is just catching up with us now. You can plant groundnuts. They really do well in dry areas. Cowpeas, sorghum, millet, and mangoes.
Yes. Mnasikia watu wangu? Sorghum, cowpeas, nuts, groundnuts, right?
Yeah, groundnuts.
Yes. Another topic, or rather news, is North Rift milk sales rise to 650 million, says the dairy process. That's a really good, that's a bonus and a plus for the economy, right? And for even the milk farmers, because they may rise to 650. I don't know what was the prior what is it? Prior sales trajectory, but 650 million is a good,
a good number.
It's a good number. Yes. Also, for those who did not know, Nairobi International Trade Fair kicks off. It started off actually yesterday, and the theme was innovation in innovative technology in agriculture and trade. So tafadhali, if you're within Nairobi, do not be shy. I think it's happening all over the world in different counties and different times, if I'm not wrong.
All over the country? Yeah.
I'm assuming, because in Nyeri I saw it was starting in a later date. I saw Mombasa a later date. But in Nairobi, for those in Nairobi, let me not give you misinformation. Pale najua, Nairobi, it started yesterday and it's going to go through this whole week. So go there if you want to learn more about the ICT, agriculture forms, technology aspects of it. I saw drones are being used in agriculture. Go there, learn, explore, get to know what people are doing out there, get to learn
different apps that you can use
yes,
as a farmer.
Yes.
That will help you, will improvise your farming.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a beneficial thing for you as a farmer, for you as a person. You never know what you might get to learn. You may never know the people that you're going to get to connect with. I think it's also a really nice way I think we had talked about social media as an aspect. I think this also is, without even social media, a trade fair is actually good for a farmer to get out there. Yeah.
It will highlight a few of new technologies in agriculture.
Yes.
So it's something that I believe as a farmer or anyone, you shouldn't miss it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So do not miss out. It's open from today until I think Friday. So when uko Nairobi showground utaiona, there's so many breeds of animals there, so many plants. Unaona mtu has a big tomato, cabbage. Unaenda unamuuliza how do they do it, what do they use, or rather how do they feed the cow, the goats. There are going to be so many breeds of animals there, so do not miss out. It's going to be very, very, very beneficial for you. I think also I'd also talked about President flagging off 20,000 bags of rice and beans to the drought-stricken places in North and Kenya. I championed that with you, like you said before. Another is, I want to congratulate and I want to say I'm a very proud Kenyan because of Eliud Kipchoge.
Oh, yes.
Yes. He broke his own record. That is some next level mindset. He broke his own record.
I think even for young athletes, this is someone they really look up to.
Yes.
This is someone who has set the pace for them,
Yes.
Like, I assume he's a bit of age.
No, he's actually mid-30s.
And he's mid-30s.
36. if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Yes.
So he's really set pace for young
Yes,
athletes.
he's set a large pace.
They can accomplish anything.
Yes, if you set, I think it's mind over matter, mind over body.
Yeah.
Bora, in your mind, you're set, you're focused, nothing can stop you. I tried running a couple of months ago early in the morning. Running is not meant for me.
It's not an easy sport. It's so
not
physical. It takes so much from you.
I was coughing and wheezing. I was like, I am not doing this anymore. Me, a girl to early in the morning. I'll do my simple exercise at home. Running is not.
It's hectic.
It's not an easy.
I second you. It's not an easy sport. Yeah. It's not for the. I don't want to say for the weak,
faint-hearted.
but it's not for the faint-hearted. So for Eliud, congratulations.
Yes.
You've done us proud again.
Yes.
Yeah. Keep encouraging the youth.
Yes.
And don't stop.
So proud. So proud. So for every Kenyan banner, do not forget, there's our athletes. Hey, we are so proud of them. So congratulations, Eliud from Afarmers Media. So proud. Another thing is, this is something that actually happened over the weekend also. KEBS also banned 10 local oil companies, or rather suspended 10 oil cooking brands. What is your thought on that? I think they reintroduced them back, but I would like to know, what was your thought on that when it happened?
I think if I'm an oil production company, that would have given me a heart attack. Because I mean, that is taking you like 10 steps back.
10 steps back.
You've packaged your product well, you're waiting for it to get into the market.
Or no, it's in the market. Now the supermarkets have to, call them
the
back.
Way Kenyans, sometimes we can be very sensitive. When something is banned, we automatically think it was about to kill us. Like, I'm not going to buy that product again,
But isn't it, that's the work of KEBS, right? To make sure that this is consumable.
Product.
Yes, that the product is standard, that it's consumable. So obviously that's what, I won't lie, that's what got into my head. I was like, Nini, what did you see? What did you notice when you're doing your test, when you're carrying out a test?
What are you not telling us? Is it something that is going to kill us,
Yes. Yes, but it was very interesting to see that happen. Did the prices of oil go down after that? They were still
they're just still constant, still same prices. But I haven't been to the supermarket lately, so I don't know. Maybe someone can tell us in the comments if that has affected the prices. Yeah, I'm not sure.
We're very open to know. Did it affect? Yeah, I'm also very curious. I'd like to know if it affected the prices.
Some of the prices.
Yeah.
Was it specific brands? Just all brands?
How many brands do we have? Because there were 10.
That's quite a big number.
10. So
that's quite a big number.
10 of Kenya's oil brands. I don't think we have more brands than that. I think they were all the oil brands.
The brands we know.
Yes.
We don't want to mention them.
If you have information about that, do not hesitate to
tell us in the comments section. We would like to know.
Yes, we want to know what happened. As much as tunatumia mafuta, I think hatujafika kwa duka of late. We would like to know if you've gone to the supermarkets, to the shops, has the price plummeted or rather gone down, ama iko tu hapo tu stabilized too. Yeah. I think that's it for our news for today. I want to delve into the weather. Leo sijawambia weather leo kidogo, nataka niwaambie ka weather kidogo ya leo. Now in Nairobi it is partly sunny with highs of 22 and lows of 11. So it's going to just be, partly sunny. In Eldoret, it's going to be similar, just partly clouds and sun. So it's just going to be highs of 21 and lows of 11 also. In Western, it's going to be the same. It's going to be mostly sunny with highs of 27. And Western 27. My accent is so bad. I won't even try again. I am so sorry. I apologize.
You'll offend watu wa Ingo.
Watu wa Ingo, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Nitakuja na kachai. Now, that is in Western. In Machakos, it's gonna be a very sunny days. It's gonna be highs of 21 and lows of 9. Hey, watu wangu ile baridi nenda kuwatwanga. Watu wa Kiambu. It's gonna be also sunny with highs of 21 and lows of 11. It's just going to be partly sunny. And also watu wa the river hapa tu karibu na Kajiado County. It's gonna also be partly sunny with highs of 22, lows of 11. Yes. I think that's it on our weather. And I want to say thank you so much for tuning in our show. We love having you around. We love rather just making you have information rather than knowledge. What is the best word? Giving you information. Yes, giving you information.
And if you're a farmer, you do better.
Yes. Niliambia kizungu, it's not for me. Took an idea, formulating idea. But we want to thank you so much for being with us today. The conversation has been very interesting. Like I said before, comment on our social media handles of Afarmers Media and right here on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and our website is www.afarmerswithaz.com. That has been us. My name is Helena J, and my guest.
My name is Fiona Luta.
From us, goodbye and enjoy the rest of the day. And also, do not forget, in the afternoon, we're going to be having Jackie Mo. So do not miss that. From us, kwaheri, and thank you so much.